Hello, my lovelies, and welcome back to Sundering Tarot. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. This is your full moon in Pisces reading. This also happens to be a supermoon, also known as a blue moon because it is the second full moon within inside a month. So there's some major things going on, but before I jump into the astrology, I'd like to remind everyone that this is a general reading, not to one reading. So please take whatever resonates and leave the rest behind. And if you would like to skip the astrology portion, please look in the description box down below. Not only will you find the decks I am using listed there, you will also find the timestamps. You can fast forward to the reading. Currently, we have about 6-7 planets in retrograde, which means this is one of the biggest full moons before we head into eclipse season. We have Chiron in retrograde, Mercury in retrograde, Venus in retrograde, Neptune in retrograde, Pluto in retrograde, Saturn in retrograde, and Uranus also just joined those planets in retrograde. So we have communication issues, we have relationship issues, people from the past showing up, whether that is platonic or romantic, or it could just be a return from previous lives, individuals, positive and negative, returning. We have illusions being dispelled, in other words, truths being revealed. On top of all that, we have energy that is slowing us down, and it's slowing us down with purpose, just based on the astrology. So this is really big. So to kind of surmise all of this for the full blue supermoon in Pisces, the bigger picture kind of gets revealed. It gets cleared away at some point. Intuition, psychic abilities are all heightened. It's an opportunity to face your fears. The focus should be on your spirituality for this particular full moon. It's also an opportunity to open yourself up to change or some sort of transition or transformation. It's also a very important time to pay attention to your dreams. Yes, spiritual healing or healing on even a mundane level can occur. This is a big full moon when it comes to endings. So things that end on this full moon are probably finite. They're set in stone. They are permanent changes, which is great for those of us that need them. It means we can close down cycles and close them down permanently for good. Of course, this is a full moon in Pisces, and Pisces being a fellow water sign, that means your emotions can be fairly volatile, very heightened. So remember your grounding practices, they will help. Of course, there's a lot of chaotic energy, so with that, you might be uncertain, in need of clarity, and the future may seem scary and unknown. But overall, your focus should be inward, towards yourself, towards your inner world, towards your connection to spirit, your higher self, and your relationship to all things. So let's go ahead and jump into your reading. All right, we're going to start with our first column here. This is the energy that is working for us. We have Clean It Up in the reverse, Yin in the reverse, A Change in the Wind in the reverse, and Orphaned in the reverse. Oh, okay, I know this may seem like a contradiction to probably what's right over here, but our emotions, yes, are heightened. They're all over the place. Everything's chaotic. And we may feel very unstable, very ungrounded, very unsure. And that doesn't seem like it's going to change. anytime soon. In fact, that might be an energy we've been embodying for quite some time. Just our inner and outer world is all over the place. It feels very messy, very sloppy. Now, you are definitely not alone in this, because this is a universal energy, simply based on the astrology and things going on in the world. There's a universal shift starting to happen, and it's being felt by everyone on multiple levels, let's put it that way. And you probably have taken notice of it, but you didn't necessarily know how to fix it quite yet. But that's there for a reason. Having those emotions, having those mood swings, having things just feel disgusting and like a chink in your chain. Let's put it that way. To be stuck in that energy for a bit is so you pay attention to it. It's there for a reason. It's trying to get your attention. And it's so you actually stop and observe and look closer at it and try to find the source. Try to find out what is causing the issue. Why are your emotions all over the place? Is it because you feel the world has absolutely lost its mind? Is it because what has previously worked for you no longer does, and you have to find the source of what really is no longer functioning? That way you can expel it, release it, let it go. Or is there something that is still unhealed? Is there a chapter that you've been to previously that is not entirely closed, that needs to be shut down in order for you to move forward, to heal, to thrive, to operate and exist in a well-balanced, healthy manner? I know that's a lot of reversal cards, but as much as that can sound as a negative, even though this is kind of the positive column, like I said, it's there to grab your attention. It's there to be put in your face, and it's to reveal something to you on purpose. And to clarify that, we have the Page of Wands, the Page of Swords, the Five of Pentacles, and the Six of Wands. Yeah, that energy is there purely to exist. So you start thinking about things, you start examining things, you start getting curious about what you can do and where in that uncomfortableness, and find that source and get the memo, get the message that something is amiss, something is wrong, something is out of place that needs to be taken care of. So let's see what else they would like to add to that. So at this time, you're probably going to start re-examining your priorities. You're going to start looking at relationships that may no longer hold value. Yeah, we have the Ten of Wands in the reverse and the Three of Swords. Yeah, you're unburdening yourself with the pain of it all. So anything that's painful, whether that is a toxic friendship that you've had for the last 10 years, that you've stubbornly let them exist in your world, but it just can't continue, you're getting rid of that person. If you have bad eating habits and realizing that's the reason why you're so tired all the time, is because you're overloading on sugar and junk food, you're getting rid of that, you're cutting it out, realizing that that's not helping you by any means, and your health is suffering for it. So things are really being set up for everyone to have that sharp relief, that realization, that aha moment of what doesn't jive, what doesn't work. Some things might have flown under the radar for the longest time, and now they can't anymore. Now they're just there to be open and revealed to you, as long as you take a moment to look at things, really truly look at things, and be still enough to do so. That way you can handle it. You can do something about it. All right, my lovelies, we're going to move on to our second column over here, which is the energy that is working against us. So this is our resistance position. We have higher power, thinker in the reverse, loyal heart in the reverse, milk and honey in the reverse, and time to go in the reverse. Okay. And this feels like energy coming from you. You might not want to take that deeper look, to try and seek answers, to try and connect to a source, try and connect to your higher self, try and connect to your ancestors, your angels, and the messages they are trying to send you. You don't want to look at it. What is that saying? Ignorance is bliss with the loyal heart. Yes. Just not wanting to change the status quo, wanting to keep your world as is, fearing change, not ready to seek something better, not wanting things to change, fearing that the abundance won't be there, the silver lining won't be there on the other side. So fear might keep you stuck in place. Your comfort zone will try and keep you in place. And what's even worse is that in the resistance we have the time to go in the reverse. Things are being slowed down for you to realize things. That's in the astrology. That's the Uranus in retrograde that just happened. That slows everything down. Everything. So everything that's being tossed at us to be revealed, we've been slowed down enough to start to see it so we can handle it. But with that comes, okay, I'm giving you this so you can contend with it. But if you ultimately are not ready or refuse to, you're not going to focus on it. You're not going to look at it. In fact, you're going to try and put blinders on to it and ignore it, to walk away from it. Like I said, this might be fear-based, of not wanting to take that deeper look, to not wanting to see what's on the other side, in fear of it being worse than what you have. And yes, I fully accept that that is basically a devil energy. That is probably your ego trying to keep you stuck. That is a fear-based response. And for those of us that have been stuck in this energy for quite some while that we've discussed over here, things have been messy, complicated, all over the place, and our emotions have been out of whack. And that might have been happening for weeks while planets have gone retrograde. And knowing how much things have circled down and down and down, you're probably wondering, where is rock bottom? Where is the end of it? But fearing that you haven't hit rock bottom, that it could get worse, you might refuse to take that closer look at it. Plain and simple. I wish I could say something a bit more positive about that, but like I said, this is the resistance position. And sometimes we don't like to progress and work on ourselves. Sometimes we just want a break. And right now the universe says, nope, we're giving you the opportunity to do this, so take it. And with as many planets going retrograde and we're going to start entering eclipse season, it's best not to ignore it. Just remind yourself that, hey, if you don't take the opportunity, come eclipse season, the universe will force it. Just as a reminder, FYI, if you choose to embody this resistance position and ignore the issue, the universe will end up pushing you out of your comfort zone, regardless of how you feel about it later on. And to clarify, we have the Two of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Six of Swords, the Moon in the reverse, and Temperance. Yeah, fear-based. Two of Swords, Nine of Swords. We are indecisive due to fear, pain, anxiety. We've been not making a choice to move on, to change things. And that's halted us. That is literally resistance showing up right there that I just talked about. So yes, the stress, the anxieties, the fears may get the better of you. Try not to feed that energy. When you feel fear, feed trust instead. And be mindful of where your focus is. Because when you're indecisive and you're so fearful, the truths that you need are going to be a little harder to grasp. You're not going to see it because you don't want to see it. And you're too latched on to the negative side of things that negative anticipation of what might happen, what could happen, what could be at some point, that you might end up accidentally doing a self-fulfilled prophecy and create a negative outcome. You might literally create something that you don't want, that you didn't wish for, that wouldn't have been there had you let go of that negative perspective, of that fear. So be careful where your focus is at, especially your emotional state. This is a full moon in Pisces. Emotions, yes, are heightened and they're all over the place. It's very chaotic to some, depending on your placements. But for everyone, yes, everything's going to be heightened regardless. The astrology says so. So, another reminder for everybody in the collective. Please, at this time, take the time to slow down. Astrology wants you to slow down anyway, but take the time to personally do self-care, to ground yourself, to get plenty of rest. Remember to take care of you. Remember to try to de-stress. The more that you do so, the more likely you are to have a clearer mind, to make decisions that you need to make. That's on all levels. That's not just at what they're highlighting, but that's just choices that you need to make on the daily. So you could be emotionally stressed out and all over the place, and instead of eating dinner, you just go to bed. Whereas the next day, having had total rest, instead of wondering what to make for dinner, you just make a decision. It's fairly easy. It's not a 20-minute argument with the family of, okay, what are we having for dinner? And who's going to make it? That gets solved all on its own. So slow down. Ground yourself a bit. Take care of yourself as needed. That way you can bring, a more grounded, balanced energy to the situation. Because if you're not grounded, if you're not centered, those emotions will overrule you. Your logical mind will not have the control. And it won't be equal between your emotions and your logical mind even, because your emotions will get away from you and they will be driving the bus. And depending on where those emotions are stemming from, anxiety, stress, ego, all that resistance energy that we've been talking about, depends on, where the bus gets driven with those emotions. Let's see what else comes out for this position. Spirit, anything else you'd like to add? We have the Star in the reverse and the Ten of Pentacles in the reverse. Yeah. If you feed that negative energy, what needs to be healed won't be. It won't help your circumstances in the long term. Things won't change in the long term because you've opted to ignore it or focus and feed the wrong type of energy. And yes, that hope for betterment, for change in areas where you need it, the personal growth where you need it, is minuscule at best during this time period. So yes, very much do not let the fear get the better of you. Don't let your ego get the better of you. Try to minimize distractions, slow down, take as much time as you need to rest and recoup. That way you can, like I said, make the decisions on the daily that you need to be making. We're going to move right along to our outcome. We have By the Book in the reverse, Co-Create in the reverse, Mending, Peace, Not for You in the reverse, Deep Knowing in the reverse, Fork in the Road in the reverse, Observer, and Treasure Island. Yeah. I already told you the energy and things on all levels was very chaotic. Whether it's your emotions that are volatile, what's happening in the world, all the different planets that are in retrograde. This is that chaotic energy just showing up, and you need to fix that. It's for your own well-being to fix it, and that means being grounded, being centered. It means getting a handle on your emotions to where you're not just being tossed around on a raging ocean. Instead, you're able to move with the flow and navigate it well enough to keep your head above water. That way you can see what is best for you, what you need to keep. And that may not always be apparent. However, once we're grounded, what wasn't apparent, you're able to see that and to move fairly readily in the correct direction after really looking at it and thinking about it for a sec. It becomes something obvious for you. But it's all hinged on whether or not with the chaotic energy you can ground yourself enough to focus, be centered, and to really analyze and see what's right and what's wrong, what's real, what's illusion, what direction you really need to go in, and what do you need to steer away from. And with the energy all chaotic, with your emotions maybe running away from you, with your intuition maybe blocked, keeping your head above water in order to do that, it is difficult. We just covered that in our resistance position. And for those that are having issues trying to get over that resistance energy that we discussed, Treasure Island here says there is something better, something worth it, something more positive on the horizon. You are capable of getting it, of receiving it, of deserving it, of being blessed by it. But that does take a little bit of action on your part. So if you feed the fear and get stuck in place, this is going to be harder to achieve. So be mindful of that. You are able to obtain something better, but you're going to have to contend with being lost in the energy first and see your way through it to find your way out of it. And to clarify that, we have the Empress. the Seven of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the Emperor. Ooh, I love it. Ooh, I love it. I love it. I love it. Because that means we've nurtured ourselves and we're back to co-creating with the universe because we're centered, we're grounded, we're more in control of our emotions, of our energy, and we're able to harness it and run with it in the direction of what we have, and also by knowing what we need, because we have that answer. We've identified, okay, what is things I need to keep, what are things that need to go, what direction do I need to head in, and more importantly, you've sought the answer and found it through clarity and being grounded and stabilizing your emotions and talking yourself out of fear, that you can actually put them into action. So you're able to create the change, the co-creation. You're able to work with the energy, no matter how chaotic it is, and take control of it and make permanent change. To cut out what you need to keep what you need to navigate your way through all the muddiedness, the raging ocean that might have swallowed you. Instead, you're able to run with that energy and keep your head above water the way that is beneficial. And it's because you're using your emotions, your intuition, your higher self, and it's guiding you in the correct direction, the correct order, the correct actions. See, this is, like I said, very big energy for definite change, permanent change. But the problem is getting your emotions and your intuition and your higher self all connected and back online to where you have your head above water in order to see what is going on for real, and being able to then handle it, to contend with it, to do what you need to. Alright, anything else we would like to add for the outcome for the collective? Eight of Wands, Ace of Cups, and the Lovers. Yeah. Moving with stable emotions, moving with hope, moving with joy, moving with nurturing energy. It's that co-creation energy in a positive light, moving with self-care, connecting to the right things. Even our spirit team, like I said, having our intuition, our higher self online again. Because that's where you're going to see the most movement. So following your gut, being in control of your emotions, having your intuition, and connection to your higher self, that positivity, that support system will help ground you. And it's just the difficulty of getting there instead of being off all over the place. Don't be surprised if things like your third eye and your crown chakra are entirely blocked at this time. There's a lot of things that are probably bombarding it so much it's clogging those chakras. So keeping them clear, as well as keeping your heart space in alignment, just because a lot of our emotions tend to stem just as much from our heart space as they do anywhere else. Keeping those cleared and aligned will help. As I said, grounding practices self-care, utilize them as necessary. You probably will need to do something to assist in that particular areas. Okay, and just for the heck of it, I know we've covered quite a bit fairly quickly. Spirit, is there any last reminders for the collective during this full moon in Pisces? Anything they should be aware of? Well, ain't that the truth? Okay. Let me explain this. They gave us the Page of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. So quite literally, they want to remind you that your emotional state, whether they are positive or negative, especially one extreme or the other, extreme positivity or extreme negativity when it comes to our emotional state has a physical effect on our reality. Our emotions create our reality. And that's for positive and for negative. They have an impact. So if we feed fear, that's the self-fulfilling prophecy. That is what is going to show up in our 3D world, our reality. Whereas if we feed the positive, we balance our emotions and, you know, get the higher end of the spectrum. That's what we're going to receive on the physical realm. That is what we are creating in the 3D world. So we can self-sabotage with the negative emotions, or we can co-create and beautify our world with the positive emotions. So, yes, our emotional being, our emotional state has an effect on our reality. And that's literally what we just covered in this entire reading of, okay, where's your emotions? Where is your center? Where is your focus? What are you feeding? Are you feeding fear, or are you getting grounded and stabilizing your emotions and looking around you about what is actually going on and what needs to be addressed? I love the fact that they gave us this. These two cards sum this up so nicely. Your emotional state has an effect on your reality. All right, my lovelies. That is all that I have for you for the time being for our full blue supermoon in Pisces. And if any of this resonated for you, by all means, please give me a big thumbs up. You know, hit the like button. Feel free to comment me at the comment section down below. And if you would like to know what decks I was using, I do have them in the description box down below. Feel free to expand that, as well as share the video anywhere online. I truly appreciate those that do. It helps the channel grow. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye.